Sawadee krap and welcome to Thailand News Today here on the Thaiger. And just before we get started, a big thank you to the Chairman and the Queensland Thaiger. Two separate people, but both new Thaiger legends. We really appreciate your support. Also, a quick update on the Thaiger I Am Strong campaign. We've reached just over 21,000 Singapore dollars, trying to get up to about 41,000 Singapore dollars, which converts to $1 million baht, to raise money for some people who are seriously falling between the cracks of any community or government help at the moment. We'll keep you updated on that. There's a link under this video in the description so you can donate if you are able to. But for now, let's get started with today's main news stories. More than a third of the country is now under curfew as restrictions are now in force in 29 of Thailand's 77 provinces. These restrictions will be enforced until at least August the 18th, but if the hospitalisations or daily new infections stay at the current level or continue to increase, that date will likely be pushed out further. The CCSA has added more dark red zones with the highest control levels to the former 13 provinces, mostly around Bangkok and the adjoining provinces and the four southernmost provinces, up to 29 over the weekend. About the only concession is that restaurants in shopping centres in those zones will be allowed to sell foods through delivery services. The CCSA has reported 18,901 new infections today, 147 COVID-related deaths. That's just shy of the July 31 record. Just over 1,000 people remain on ventilators at this time in Thailand. Worldwide, the total number of coronavirus infections has pushed through the 200 million barrier today, with 4,250,000 deaths. Yesterday, the Ministry of Public Health has assured the public that all medical staff, including rescuers, we assume they mean emergency responders, and undertakers, will get the Pfizer vaccine from the 1.5 million doses donated from the US. Around 700,000 vaccine doses will be provided to medical staff, albeit the number has proven somewhat controversial with the public regarding the equity of the vaccine distribution plan, as they say multiple medical personnel fall through the cracks of the ministry's criteria and will not be eligible for the vaccine. But the ministry maintains that all medical staff and frontline health workers at risk of catching COVID will get a Pfizer vaccine. A spokesperson insists that the 700,000 doses is an adequate amount for multiple civil society groups want the department to allocate the Pfizer vaccine to any medical staff around the country, saying that they're all at high risk of being infected with COVID. The executive chairman of the Banyan Tree Group, Singaporean KP Ho, is calling for Phuket to be given green status, promoting the island as a safe haven for foreign tourists. He was addressing the Phuket Sandbox summit via video conference when he called on European airlines, business leaders and officials to differentiate the southern island from the rest of Thailand.
Everywhere I go and everyone I've talked to have talked about how the Phuket Sandbox is a really historic example of what the rest of Asia needs to do. And I keep on emphasizing, if you look at the geographies, there is no place east of the Maldives and west of Hawaii that has got an experiment like this.
KP says that Phuket could potentially lead the recovery of global tourist hubs, even while places like Bangkok and another 28 provinces find themselves in the grip of a COVID-19 crisis with severe restrictions. KP describes the Phuket Sandbox program as the example that other places can follow. However, he adds that in order for the program to be a success, foreign governments need to recognise Phuket as a safe destination, separate from the rest of the kingdom. Meanwhile, among a raft of other new restrictions announced for Phuket as of last night, the sale of alcohol is now banned in restaurants, although you can still purchase a drink at your local convenience stores, but only between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. The Deputy Government spokesperson has issued a warning that people should refrain from buying the antiviral medication Favipiravir online because it's possibly fake. The drug also goes by the brand name Avigan as well as other names. Importantly, the spokesperson says that the medication should only be taken if it's prescribed by a doctor. Favipiravir has become a popular drug dispensed in some Thai hospitals as a drug to treat people testing positive for COVID, but with only very mild or no symptoms of COVID-19. Now, why anyone would be ordering the drug online is a mystery, unless it's from a hospital and under the direction of a doctor. Global studies for Favipiravir and Avigan suggest the drug has little use for COVID patients once they display symptoms. Meanwhile, the claims that the leaves of bitter leaf trees can cure COVID-19 have been publicly debunked and branded as fake news today by the Royal Thai Police. Despite promises in both Asian and African herbal folklore, the best you'll get out of a bitter leaf is a bitter taste in your mouth. The new Red Line is now running. It's a new SkyTrain style service which will head north out of the new Bang Sur railway hub through Chatuchak to Don Muang and then further north to terminate at Rangsit. Commuters will be able to ride along the Red Line for free until November, when full commercial services are expected to begin. The PM did a virtual launch of the new line yesterday. Like the Gold Line introduced last year, extending the BTS over the Chao Phraya into the Western Bank, the new Red Line trains are driverless. With domestic flights grounded and Phuket sealed off until at least mid-August, the authorities came up with a cunning plan. Packing travellers aboard a bus to breathe everyone else's air for a 16-hour trip to Bangkok. Well, after Phuket authorities announced yesterday that they'd dreamt up the Sandbox express bus to Suvarnabhumi Airport, it was quickly dissed online for being expensive, slow and impractical. Passengers were expected to pay 1,500 baht for the journey that sets out before dawn and arrives in Bangkok after curfew, effectively stranding anyone flying out of the country at the airport. Whilst being reserved for sandboxes needing to get to BKK for a flight out of the country, most online pundits said the only people who would probably use it were Bangkok residents trying to get back home. So that's all the main news out of the Thaiger at this time. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got our morning show, Good Morning Thailand, every morning. Jet's back on the helm of Thailand News Today for the rest of the week from tomorrow. In the meantime, don't forget, if you can, to donate to our I Am Strong campaign. There's a link under this video. In the meantime, you're up to date on the Thaiger.
It's time to join the conversation. Thaiger Talk is our forum where you can share your thoughts and comments about all the news stories, as well as just about anything happening in Thailand. Just scroll down under any Thaiger story, click on Thaiger Talk, register, and you're in. It's time to join Thailand's fastest growing forum. So jump in and be part of the Thaiger Talk conversation.